This time on Kawaii-Fi Radio, Aaron's hair is in the spotlight again.
And then she puts it on, she gets stuck, she takes it off, she's bald.
Why are you all looking at me?
We consider alternate settings for Fruit's basket.
Set it in Manor or something.
It could be a gated community in LA. They're all celebrities.
Or like a Downton Abbey kind of big place in England.
Yeah.
And we dive into the world of live-action adaptations. Fullmetal Panic was originally getting a Western adaptation with Zac Efron as the main character.
And honestly,
He's a massive fan of the manga.
honestly, that wouldn't have been bad.
It's over 9,000! NANI?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi Radio!
Konnichiwa and welcome. You're tuned in to Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast we dive in the world of anime and manga. I'm Kyle, and joining me are my co-hosts Aaron, Kenny, and today's special guest, Keiralee from ANIME-NIACS Cosplay. Welcome!
Hello, thank you.
Good to meet you.
Thank you very much for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now, if those of you who are not from Perth or Australia, you might not have heard of ANIME-NIACS Cosplay. So, Keiralee, tell us a little bit about yourself and your partner. You're a cosplaying duo, and you're pretty good at it.
Yeah. So I am one half of ANIME-NIACS Cosplay and the other half is Scott. And together, you know, we make costumes. I'm more of the sewing side and he's more of the sort of leather and armor side. And
Who handles the hot glue?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
So you're the one to trust with heavy artillery, basically.
Or...
Trust is a strong word.
Yeah. I have many a bands, but I think a lot of people have in cosplay. But yeah, in 2018, we won the national championships and we did that with the Monster Hunter costume. So you should go and check that out on our page on
we'll be
ANIME-NIACS.
putting a link to ANIME-NIACS across our social media. So do go check them out and give them a like. They've got some great content and some of the stuff you've made is amazing.
Thank you very much.
I mean, Monster Hunter is very, very famous for just having gigantic weapons to slay gigantic beasts. Did you have to make a gigantic weapon for that, or?
So we have to do like a sketch for the competition. So we didn't, because we had to bring it to Melbourne. We didn't want to, make a big sort of sword or anything like that. So we kind of just made a swordfish and made the sketch around the swordfish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the cat lost the sword in a gambling debt, you see. So, all he had was a swordfish.
Oh, yeah, it was a swordfish. Aaron, you're playing Monster Hunter at the moment as well.
Oh, man, am I playing it.
How are you finding it? This is the new one, Rise.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise. Wow, it's very Monster Hunter.
Yeah?
But
what does that mean?
Okay, you go
that
in,
probably
you fight
means
big
something
monsters with big swords, just like Kenny said, and then you take their bits and you make new stuff out of it, and you have to keep grinding the same fights over and over and over.
Oh, it's a bit grindy.
Very grindy.
Okay.
So if you don't like the grind, don't play it. But if you're looking for just a time sponge, 100% just drop into it.
That's fair enough.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what we're doing this episode. So this episode, we are talking about live action anime, but not existing ones. Specifically, we're talking about shows that could be made into a live action that haven't already.
Yeah, each of us are going to put an idea forward and the rest of us have to argue about it and tell us why it's a terrible, terrible idea and that we should be ashamed.
Or a good idea. Well,
No.
we can say some of us are pitching good ideas. Some of us are pitching ones that definitely shouldn't be made, myself included in that. And hey, if you are new to the show, consider hitting the subscribe button, join the Kawaii-Fi community. You can find us across YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, and we'd love to be in your pocket on your day off. We are also on Discord now as well, and we got a Patreon, and is there anything else I can plug?
Jeez.
You can buy us coffee.
Yeah, you can buy us coffee.
You can buy me
play
some
Minecraft
noodles.
with us.
Yes, if you join the Discord, we do have gaming servers as well that we're doing stuff on. So yeah, we'd love to see you around. But there is still plenty to talk about this episode. First, we need to talk about this.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Daddy! Ohayo!
Hang time! I gotta go!
I have to know! Hooray! I did the thing!
Oni-chan, nani wo miru?
What we're watching.
Alrighty, it's a new anime season. We've all been watching different stuff, and we're going to start with Aaron because you've been watching something that hasn't been airing and that might require counselling by the sounds of it.
Yeah, so I've been curious about like chaos culture in anime and stuff, and I found this one like
chaos culture.
Chaos culture. So like crazy things happening for absolutely no reason, just because they can.
Okay,
just like the most
so-
unbelievable things, just constantly.
We've seen a few things
Well,
like that.
I was going to say one of the things we are talking about this episode, recommended by Keiralee, as a bit of a hint
Falls
of
in that category.
chaos
Yeah, a bit of
Yeah.
chaos culture, yeah.
So, what's been your like introduction to this deep dive?
Bobobo.
okay.
I think the microphone just broke.
Bobo-Bo-Bo.
Yes.
Bo.
So 6 bows?
It's
Bobo-Bo.
Bobobo. Yeah.
Bo-Bo-Bo?
7. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Yes, dear listeners, that is exactly as it sounds. It's the letters B-O repeated 7 times.
It's not Beau. I
It's
had a guy
B.O.
in high school named that.
Bo?
Yeah,
Oh.
Bo. Yeah, no.
Can you imagine how long the title would be if it was that? It just
Yeah.
doubles the length.
Is it wrong to Bo-Bobo in this dungeon fate grand order of the Bo-Bobo?
Is it Bobobo to this Bobobo?
So
gone
I'm reincarnated
Bobos?
as a
All
Bobo.
right, so
Now what?
please enlighten us. What on earth is Bobo-Bo-Bo-Bo-Bo?
You know what? You probably know more than me on this. I watched all 76 episodes, and it's just
76?
76.
Wow, okay.
I mean, I know a little bit about it, but I know enough to know that if you watch more than 5 episodes in a row, your brain starts to itch.
Try 20 episodes a night.
Oh, when you're on
Wow.
shift.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yes.
All right.
I've got a little man living in my afro now.
You don't have an afro. Is it invisible?
Where's the little man?
It's in your beard.
Oh, okay.
Now, if my understanding is right, Bobo is one of those series from, I think, the mid-2000s?
Yeah.
And it's...
where the random XD raw kind of like everyone llama song sort of thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it
Oh, man.
embraces that strangeness where it's just like, hey, this episode has no reflection on anything that's happening on it. What was else?
No,
did we
there
have
is
in
a
it?
long overlining story
Oh.
arc that they go through, which is the
Okay.
Hair Hunt Troop are trying to make everyone bald, and Bobobo is the last survivor of the Hair Kingdom.
What?
Okay, so there is a story. It's not...
There is a story. It's
just-
not complete chaos, but
Okay.
along that story, there is just chaos. Like, there's fusion by eating one of the characters, and then they turn into
Whoa.
God knows.
Sorry, fusion by eating another character.
Yeah, he turns into like a little gumdrop.
Oh, that's what that is.
Keiralee, what have you
Yeah.
been watching?
Next show.
Yeah, so Bobo-Bo, very, very strange.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Keiralee, what have you been watching?
So I can't remember the name.
Was it one
Ooh.
from...
Yeah. So it's Vivy. Vi?
Vivy Fluorite
Yeah.
Eye
V5
Oh, yes. I think we talked about this when we were introducing the new
Well,
season.
we did discuss it before we went on air, but yeah, what did you think of it?
Yeah. So it's pretty much just like Skynet.
That's fair.
Yep.
Are you John Connor?
I mean, it's not really rated for the kids.
Yeah.
The first sort of scene is quite hectic, kind of funny. You know, quite a few characters get killed, and well, I think in a funny way.
I'm intrigued, but also a little disturbed. This is probably going to teach me something about you now.
Yeah, I have a bit of a sixth sense of humor.
Okay. Well, to give a bit of context, Vivy Fluorite Eye's song is a new series which has started this year. It's to do with AIs and a bit of time travel. A AI from the future comes to an AI in the past and explains how they're going to stop the war between humans and artificial intelligence, basically.
It's a T-3000. It is hunting John Connor.
Except I think it's hunting other AIs. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's an AI hunting AIs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be a musical based on like the.
It kind of like there's music in there. It's like the first scene where everyone's dying. It's like the happy music.
Oh,
you know, like
dear.
happiest
I
music.
see why you found it
Ju-
funny.
Yeah,
Jack.
yeah.
Just to clarify, when I said musical, I don't mean like the hills are alive. I mean more like
Idle thing.
idle,
Yeah.
idly sort of music. Yeah,
Exactly.
And because the main girl, Vivy, is Vivy the main girl?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she's AI designed to sing.
Yeah, so she's a diva and she's there. Her mission is just to make people happy with her music. And then she's hit by the AI from the future from 100 years. And so he's joining with her to then stop the AIs from killing humanity.
Interesting. What's his stake in that? Why is he trying to help?
Because he likes people.
That's a good reason to help.
That's a good reason to help. You see, I was kind of a bit concerned when you were like, and then she's hit by, and I'm like, a truck? Is this an insect?
Well, I'm sure Kenny's also thinking the same thing as me when we hear Vivy.
Final Fantasy 9?
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
That's an older reference, kids.
But it checks out.
It checks out. From memory, Vivy Fluorite Eyes is on Crunchyroll or Funimation. I think it's Funimation.
I'm pretty sure it's Funimation.
I think it's Crunchyroll.
No, it is on both by the looks
Ah.
of it.
Oh, okay.
Anime
¿Por qué
Lab
no los
have
dos?
it, Funimation have it, Crunchyroll appear to have it as well.
Yeah, it's on both.
I have no idea where Bobobo is.
Bobobo's on Foxtel.
Fair enough. Okay, well, let's move on from there. I'm going to talk about something that Keiralee has seen, and you two gentlemen have not. It's called Farewell, My Dear Cramer. Now, we're not talking Cramer as in Seinfeld.
Hey, Jerry.
What is the deal with anime?
What is the deal with football? This is a sports ball anime.
Sports ball.
It's about soccer, football, whatever you prefer to call it, the round ball game, and it's about a girls' team. Now, this has quite a lot of hype behind it from the actual manga community who read it. Unfortunately, I don't think Liden Films was the right team to run it. And I think you can kind of back me up on this.
Yeah,
Kira.
definitely.
There's what seems to be the problems.
It's a bit iffy on
the main
looks.
characters. Okay, so the art style for the character design is very basic, to the point that the eyes look cold and dead.
Yeah, no soul.
There's also this very weird thing they have when the girls are behind a fence, where they kind of do like a porthole of them through the fence, but there's then a fade around the outside, so it looks like their head has phased through the fence.
Oh, sort of like how certain animators will draw the hair in front of the eye, but still have the eye visible.
Yeah, except that kind of works depending on the art style of the show. This doesn't work with the art style of the show.
Are all the
Yikes.
girls Mirio? And they're just
No, this
taking out the trash?
They're not from My Hero Academia, but it's just, it doesn't feel right, does it?
No, not at all. Same with like the running.
Yeah,
It's really
there's,
odd.
Like sometimes the animation's really good. Like, I mean, the outro's animation is mwah,
Yeah.
but it kind of seems like it's hit and miss. Especially that first 4 minutes of the show is really kind of a bit janky. And once you get past that, it improves a bit. And there are still moments where you're just kind of a bit like, I'm not sure. But the story's interesting.
Is it like when Ruby started and everyone's like, you just have to get past the animation because the animation is quite
A
janky?
little bit, yeah.
A little bit. It's done by the guy. It was written by the guy who wrote Your Lie in April, so it's got the very
perfect
defined, the very defined lips, sort of unusual styling of eyes and so on. But it just, I think, it's because they've relied on CG quite a lot for this. It hasn't really done well for them, and I think it could be the downfall for it. The story's interesting enough, but if the CG, well, to be honest, the animation's inconsistent. Sometimes they've forgotten to add lips for characters who have lips, very obviously shown there. Yeah, I know that sounds really weird. So it's just before they had lips, and then the next shot they just have a line for the mouth, especially the main girl. It's just a little bit off, and some of the soccer interactions are not right. Like as you were saying, Kira, like there's a scene where one of the girls is running and it's literally like almost comedic, like you're like, no.
Okay, but fair enough for somebody to have those moments where oops, yeah, either you don't do it up to standard or you kind of forget it. I'm sure you've seen that panel of Shoto as a baby where he just looks like Stewie from Family Guy.
Yeah, I have. But the thing is that they've had quite a long lead up to this, and Liden Films haven't had a massive amount on their plate for the last 12 months. They've had a couple of series here and there that kind of really branched out, but
they're no Mappa.
Look, I mean, if Mappa took this on, it would be fantastic, but it probably would also be a bit shorter, I think. I think they wouldn't want to be picking up another long-running anime considering their projects.
The amount they've got on their plate.
I think the reason they went for Liden is because they still haven't announced the episode length for this at the time of recording. They will have by the time this goes out. but they haven't announced that episode length, so we don't know if this is going to be an ongoing series like we had with Haikyuu, where it's, we do one season then another, or if it'll be like Ashita no Sora, the basketball one, where they did 52 episodes in a row and then ended it. So it'll be interesting to see, because women's football does deserve to be talked about a lot more, and it can be absolutely amazing to watch. I don't know if anyone saw the women's FIFA World Cup a couple of years back. It was fantastic. It was high energy, fast paced, and even for someone who's not super into sports, it was an enjoyable watch. So good. Yeah, I can say we will see if Farewell My Dear Cramer is any good, and the Cramer part is not to do with farewelling her cramming lifestyle of cramming for exams or anything like that. It's to do with a German football coach, and I have to thank the members on my anime list for finding this out for us. It's to do with a football coach who was brought into Japan when Japan was hosting the World Cup in, I believe, the 60s, to bring the Japanese football team up to scratch so that they could actually play. And he ended up causing an upset by them actually beating Argentina and proceeding to the group phases, out of the group phase into the knockout competition, which, at the time was just like, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, it's got that sort of pedigree and the knowledge. And even in the first episode, there's references to Diego Maradona and stuff like that.
So yeah, that's what I was going to ask, is does the title actually have something to do, like, does that character Cramer appear, or?
I believe he's since passed on, so I think it's,
the ghost
of Cramer. Well, a girl from the Japanese women's team, a lady from the Japanese women's team who was like their big number one sort of player at the time of when this was written, appears as the coach for the team.
Okay, so she's their Cramer.
Yeah. And I think it's that she uses some of his techniques and so on. Now, at the time of recording, we've only seen the one episode because we're recording a bit early this week, but it could be good.
So she's the man.
Yeah, it's exactly that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And it's funny you say that, because the main character was previously playing with only the boys' squad because she didn't think the girls' squad was good enough.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about the first speech as well.
Yeah.
I was kind of put off by
Some
that.
of the dialogue's a bit weird, such as the ball is round, It's like, no.
Really?
Okay.
And that was said as an inspirational line.
In Jujutsu,
The
you gotta
ball is
remember,
not round,
Megumi
it's
said,
flat.
if you
Resource
die,
of
I will kill
controversy.
you. Yeah, so we can't.
But that's funny.
Yeah, but so is the ball is round.
Not when it's being used as something to motivate the other girl. It's like it opened her
ball
eyes.
is
Seriously,
round.
it was like,
Like,
she goes, the ball is round, and then she's like, no.
Yeah, but Megumi was big.
She was a flat baller.
Oh,
No. Okay.
jokes are my forte,
I've
man.
I've dwelled on this far too long. Kenny,
Hello.
Your turn.
Enlighten us. How's Nomad?
It's art.
So you feel
Frankly-
no mad feelings?
Yeah, there it
Ah,
is.
there you go.
That was a
Oh,
good
dear.
retaliation shot. As far as Nomad being a continuation of Megalobox from a couple of years ago now,
Yeah.
it does it in such a beautiful style. It's like watching like one of those kind of 1980s like Rocky films again.
Rocky 2.
Kind of, yes. I mean, he's had success, and then something terrible has happened to push him right from like the situation he was in right at the end to something much more lonesome and darker.
How spoilerific is that event? Is it something you could predict having watched the original series?
No.
Oh, because I was
Ooh.
going to say how his ID got discovered.
Sorry, what?
His ID got discovered.
Oh, yeah. Kind of hasn't.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So,
I mean, only one person has really recognized him, and that's someone he gets into the ring to fight with later on.
So for those who haven't watched Megalobox, I think it was 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
It was based off Ashita no Joe, the boxing manga, which goes back 50 odd years, and it was a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the manga. And it was like a reimagining of the story of the guy who's come from nothing to be the best in the world.
Except that Megalobox and Nomad, consequently, are set in a future where there's it's
Augmented boxing gear.
yeah,
if you
rather rather than using performance-enhancing drugs in sport, they use performance-enhancing technology. They strap like robotic armatures onto themselves to make themselves hit like a truck. It's great.
So yeah.
So lots of isekai happens?
Nerd.
Every
No.
boxer gets isekai. Is it wrong to be a
That
boxer?
sounds
Isekai?
like a great series idea.
Okay.
Isekai boxer.
Yeah, that kind of
We
does.
have had isekai wrestler, if you recall.
Oh, yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Love
Kimono
it.
Jihen or whatever?
Kimono Michi,
Kimono Michi.
which was
Kimono
written by the
Jihen
guy who
was
did
the-
Konosuba.
Oh, okay.
And he's got another one this season, Combatants Will Be Dispatched. So that's going to be quite interesting. Not for kids, that one, unfortunately. But look, we do need to move on from there. Nomad, definitely worth checking out.
Oh, it's beautiful.
it's-
The soundtrack especially is chef's kiss.
But we need to move on and talk about what could make a good live action.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
And now for our feature presentation.
Now featuring.
Alrighty, so today's roundtable feature discussion.
But it's rectangular.
What could make a good live action?
Or bad.
Or a bad live action adaptation. So not something that currently has a live action adaptation. We're going to rule them out and we'll start, let's look at things that currently don't. And I think it's probably safe to start in your ball court, Aaron. Tell us
My ball court,
what
okay.
you think would make a good live action or a bad live action adaptation and why.
Well, if you want a bad one, I've got one I just came up with, but you won't want to hear it.
Hey, Aaron, what live action would you like to talk about that is PG rated and suitable?
Fruits Basket, actually.
Oh.
Like, I haven't actually sat down and watched Fruits Basket. I've seen a lot of bits of it, but I haven't sat down and watched it. And I thought, like, it's a very cool, kind of chill, like, it'd make a nice live action if they did the CG for the transformations well.
Could be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
So are we talking full Japanese live action, or would you also consider Western?
I think Japanese would suit it better, because isn't it set in, like, a traditional Japanese house? most of
Yeah,
the
it
time?
Actually,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid
Yeah.
Yeah,
question.
so it'd
that,
have
actually.
to be very...
Oh no, you could
You could,
adapt
like,
it.
set it in manor or something, like a fancy, like... Ooh.
It could be a
Like
gated
a-
community in
Yeah.
LA.
Like a down-
They're all celebrities.
Or like a Downton Abbey kind of big place in England.
Yeah, like something nice to look at.
Actually, the English setting might work better than the US setting because
Yeah.
you could tie it into Fae folklore that way.
yeah.
That could work.
If you were going to do a
Oh, yeah.
Western adaptation of it.
Yeah. That could work really well.
Okay.
We've got options.
We do. Now,
Hey, Netflix.
now because you haven't watched all of Fruits Basket.
No, I've barely watched any of it, to be honest.
Well, for those who aren't aware of what Fruits Basket is, Fruits Basket's its final season of the reboot of the show is happening at the moment. It's a series where a girl called Toru, she accidentally stumbles across a couple of family members who turn out to be connected with the Zodiac, and when they're embraced by the opposite gender, they turn into the animal of said Zodiac.
Oh, with the Western one, you could also do the Western Zodiac.
Exactly.
Oh.
So
Hug a guy, he turns into a scorpion. Sting, sting, sting!
can you imagine hugging someone who turns into a lion? It's like, ah!
Yeah, but you could just get lost in that big fluffy mane.
What if he eats you?
What happens if you hug
well,
Gemini?
obviously you're in love.
What?
Then they
The
split in
twins.
two.
Yeah.
Ah, we're two people now.
Libra just turns into a set of scales.
Two dolphins.
Yeah, I don't think this Western Zodiac thing's gonna work.
It'd be funny, though.
Interesting.
For one episode.
Well, I mean, with Gemini, you could probably... Sorry, not Gemini. Aquarius, you could go the mermaid. For the bull, you could probably go like
A minotaur?
A minotaur, yeah. So
Pisces?
Pisces is
Pair
the
of fish.
No,
Pair
it's
of-
just the one fish.
It's technically
Oh.
one fish, but they duplicate the logo because
about-
to make it round.
Libra, though.
Yeah, it
Because
just
that's-
turns into a set of scales.
Yeah.
They transform into a judge.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're holding a gavel.
you.
Ask not where I pulled this gavel from.
No, this gavel actually used to be my leg.
Well, I was thinking with Gemini, like two smaller versions of themselves, one good, one evil.
That could work, like good and evil devil sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or like a Harry Potter, with the face at the back.
Let's not do that one. Let's not.
That was rated PG. It's fine.
That was, yes.
Did you
But-
guys see the original models for like Lord Voldemort's head on the back of Krill?
Do we want to?
Kind of if you like horror, because
Yeah, no, that's a hard
Hells,
pass
it
for me,
is just
homie.
terrifying.
Yeah.
You're just like, yes, I will have that. I'll have all of that. All right. Well, so if you were going to pitch this,
Yes.
who would you pitch it to? Would you pitch it to like one of the big studios in the US? Would you go for like a Netflix or Amazon, or would you go just purely Japanese if you
I'd
were
go
in charge
purely
of it?
Japanese. Like, if it was the first one and it was my make or break moment as a director, and I was like, okay, I have to pitch this to the right person, I'd go straight to Japan.
That's fair.
Because you'd want to make the first one as authentic as possible.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
definitely.
definitely take artistic rights on the second one or whatever.
Film or series?
Ooh.
Series.
Yeah.
I think it would
I was
have
going
to.
to say you'd be looking at like
There's
8
too much
films.
for a film, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Fruits Basket definitely could make a good live action adaptation. It isn't too insane.
I mean,
No.
we've seen.
like Bo-Bobo would make a terrible adaptation.
It'd make a great adaptation. I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
we've seen plenty of Japanese live actions to know that in the hands of a Japanese studio, it could do quite well. Like the live action Death Note one. So you guys saw those
the
ones,
Yeah.
right?
Japanese one.
Yeah.
Except for the last one. The last one was terrible.
Yeah, the most
Well, the
recent one.
L light up the world.
Yeah,
or-
something
Yeah.
like that with the Newt Newt mask.
I haven't watched it, but I know
But,
of the Newt Newt
like,
mask.
that one did get a lot of criticism, but honestly, I think it was done very well from like a filmmaking perspective.
Filmmaking perspective, yes. Story-wise, after the last movies, absolutely atrocious.
Oh yeah, and then there was the Netflix one.
Okay, well, let's move on from Fruits Basket. Keiralee, enlighten us. What
Well-
live action would you make if you were going to adapt something?
I'm not really sure if this one's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you willing to fall in love with a pervert as long as she's cute?
How cute is she?
Good question, Kenny.
Yeah.
I think that came out about 12 months ago.
Wait, is that the one with Bench Kun?
That's,
No.
That's
Oh, Hensuki, yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
one you cosplayed?
no,
Okay,
no,
I'm thinking of
no.
a different one.
Look, we
No.
will
Did you
we will
cosplay as the
permit
pervert?
Hensuki this episode because it'd be
Okay.
interesting
Yeah.
to hear this. Because look, we kind of avoided talking about this one because at the time the initial synopsis of it was quite questionable, and since it's been released, the synopsis makes a lot more sense. It's a harem
Okay.
rom-com.
All
Yeah.
right.
Fair
But
enough.
the way it was kind of phrased in the initial press release suggested it would be something that would be akin to some of the ones we're not talking about from last season. Yeah. So yeah, well, enlighten us.
Well, because like I think it would just be really interesting to see because it's set in a school as well, and nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Like there's kind of, it doesn't cross the line
That's
quite. There's maybe a couple
There's
of
more sort of like double entendre and suggestion, but
yes.
Playful stuff like
yes.
toying. Don't toy with me.
Oh, Don't Toy With Me Nagatoro, yeah.
Yeah. I think it just would be really fun to see,
Yeah.
play out.
Now, here's the thing, though. I don't think you could really do it as a Western one because there is such a complete divide between school culture, between what we have in the West and
Oh, yeah.
Japanese.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very different.
It'd just be Japanese for sure.
Yeah.
Man, like, this is a show from... Sorry, Funimation, this content isn't available in your country. I didn't want that. I just wanted the synopsis. It turns out this one has got only 12 episodes. It was a novel series originally. And by the looks of it, it came out in 2019. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, just having a quick look on my anime list, it's on 6.58, which is not bad at all. And, just for clarification, none of us have actually pitched what our shows are before this episode, so we're all coming in blind on this.
That's why my first one was so great.
It was one so terrible. But it's quite an interesting concept. As far as it goes, many boys, especially in their teenage years, want to have a girlfriend. Kiryu? Kiryu?
Kakiku Keko.
Cool.
Kiryu.
Do you want me to silver tongue it? Where's the
Here you go.
I think they just call him like Cake.
Keiki Kiryu?
Yeah, okay, so I was close. Cake Boy.
Yeah.
Cake Man is no exception. One eventful afternoon, his days of yearning for a lover seem to come to an end when he receives a love letter from an anonymous sender, along with a pair of white undergarments. Yes, I have censored that. To determine the identity of his secret admirer, referred to as Cinderella, he proceeds to investigate several possible candidates, including his senior, his underclassman, and his classmate. However, as Cake Boy seeks to uncover who this mystery girl might be, he comes to know about the certain fetishes hidden inside each candidate's innocent exteriors.
Yep.
So
I love it.
It's basically diving into, by the sounds of it, the face we show to the public and the face that is our true selves.
Horimiya.
Yeah. Just a little bit more gratuitous, I guess.
Yes.
Would probably be the a bit more heavy on the fan service, I'm guessing.
So
Yeah.
So the person who left him that in his locker, he calls Cinderella. So, like Cinderella, does he go around like trying to fetish on the shoe on?
Close.
Is it Cinderella but with an S?
Hey, I like
That could work.
that. Netflix, do the thing.
I think this would be interesting. It definitely could do a live action adaptation because, let's be perfectly honest, if they can do Hentai Kamen,
Hentai Kamen is so good.
then they can get away with that. And that's the perverted hero
I'm guessing
translation.
this is kind of on a similar vein to that one, right?
Yeah.
I feel, though, we'll have to change it from high school to college
Yeah.
just for legal reasons.
Oh, yeah.
For legal reasons, it would definitely end up being in college, especially if we couldn't do a Western adaptation in that. Actually, no. I think Netflix would be more than happy to do an LA college style adaptation of it. They would
But
just
it'd be
change.
more frat boy, wouldn't it?
It'd be more frat
Yeah.
boy, and it would probably be a case of that it wasn't an undergarment, but something else. Like maybe it would be like a garter belt or something.
Oh, yeah.
Something that's that would be considered less inappropriate.
I can already see the trashy Netflix remake of it.
So
like
can
a Western.
I. Yeah, I can. But that says a lot. That means it could happen.
I mean, it's a pretty crazy pick, though.
It is. Look, I'm definitely intrigued, and like we've seen a lot of interesting like harem rom-coms and so on that have popped up in recent years with different subjects, and at least they're starting to explore different elements,
Which is nice.
Which is nice. It kind of gets a bit boring seeing the same thing over and over and over.
We get it. All of you love the same person, and he has to choose.
Oh no.
I mean, I think I can only think of a couple of ones where that's been done to great effect. What was the name of the one with Bench Kun in it? Are you the one who loves me?
Are you the only one who loves me? Yeah.
That one was a demented mess, and I love it.
That was fantastic, though. It was so good. I haven't watched that last episode. The OVA's out. We need to watch it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm for that.
So I believe that the OVA for that's on Funimation. All right, Kenny.
Hello.
Is yours a good adaptation or a bad adaptation?
See, I was pondering some pretty normie choices of like, what would be something that
Normie choices.
Yes.
From
like-
Kenny.
just something that could, would be good for everyone to watch, that anyone could get into.
Oh, like a nice safe choice.
Sort of.
So, something that you can see a US studio going, yeah.
Pretty much. Something
Okay.
that would be like a guaranteed sell. And I went through a few. I think I was looking at Full Metal Panic for a little bit.
Oh, well, so Full Metal Panic was originally getting a Western adaptation with Zac Efron as the main character.
And honestly,
He's a massive fan of the manga.
honestly, that wouldn't have been
That's surprising.
bad. His face, everything, he would totally suit the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going along those lines, but then I sort of picked one. And the more I started thinking about it, the more I'm like, with the right people, this could be great. Black Lagoon.
Oh,
Yes.
Black Lagoon. Now, we do have to obviously give the parental advisory recommended on Black Lagoon. Fantastic series.
Yeah.
It's sort of, what would you call it? Like a crime heist drama series. Like there's elements of heist, there's elements of sort of crime activity, there's elements of I guess you could say militaristic activity.
A Japanese businessman joins a group of like
Pirates.
modern day contemporary pirates and smugglers and bandits, and like starts to live out the rest of his life on this island of the most like horrifying criminals you've ever seen, run by probably the scariest like criminal matriarch ever.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay, this would be great as like a series. Who would I get for it? And I was thinking, what if you got the director of John Wick, Chad Stahelski? Stahelski.
Aaron
Aaron
Stahelski.
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 I missed the L, didn't I?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
I really should know that name. I love the John Wick movies. But if you like do in that kind of a style, Japanese or Western, it could be done so easily.
It could. I could see that as a actually not a Netflix. I could see that as an Amazon original.
Oh yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Because they'd put high budget into that, so there'd be a lot of explosions. It'd be very action orientated, but the cinematography would be phenomenal, and that also means they could do really good work with the CG and with like gunfights and so on.
The casting would have to be on point as well, and I haven't quite thought as deeply into that. But
I have an answer for who you'd have as the main guy.
Oh yeah,
John Cho.
hey, yeah.
Like I know he's playing Spike in Cowboy Bebop's upcoming live action.
Oh yeah.
But I love him as an actor, and I think he can pull off, because after he was in Star Trek...
Wait, no. Who was the bloke in WandaVision recently? The police officer.
Oh!
I thought you were going to say Hero from Heroes.
Nah.
I think he's a bit too old for it now.
Yeah, he's getting long in the tooth.
Like, he could start doing the stuff that Benedict Wong's doing. Like...
That'd be cool.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Keiralee, she's looking at us like, hang on, what?
Yeah,
These are
I'm not
names.
really... Yeah, names. Ooh.
Sorry.
No, you're right. I really like the anime, though. It's pretty old now.
Oh, yeah, it's old, but it still really stands up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you were talking about Randall Park, who plays Detective Jimmy Woo in the Ant-Man films.
Oh, yeah.
And also in the recent WandaVision.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
he's-
When you said the policeman, I was like, policeman? I don't remember any policeman in the
Yeah,
town.
sorry about that. I
Shield agent.
kind of forgot his main role.
Well, he's not a SHIELD agent. He's with the FBI.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So, well, it's yes and no. Like, it's kind of a bit questioning as to what his actual
Role is.
like what the organization he's with is, because obviously they had SHIELD and now they've got SWORD. Because SHIELD's been dissolved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's like, where does he sit?
Yeah, but
he's in the unnamed government organization known as Men in Black.
Well, he is in a black suit. Yeah, that's fair.
the universes are connected.
Sorry, former SHIELD agent before being recruited into the FBI. So there you go. We're getting way off topic.
Welcome to the Marvel podcast.
Who would you get to play Remy?
That is the trick, isn't it? I was
You
thinking...
mean the little rat?
No, this isn't Ratatouille.
No. A part of me was thinking the main actress of the recent Tomb Raider movie. Because that was an abysmal mess, and that actress
was
deserves
it?
so much better.
Oh, that's a shame. Sorry, Revy, not Remy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and she's... So whoever plays
She
her...
looks very Lara Croft.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
She acts like it, too.
she's like
Oh.
Lara Croft's evil twin, basically.
I would say, like, she kind of reminds me of Ghost in the Shell.
Motoko
Scarlett
Kusanagi.
Johansson?
Yeah, Moto. But I wouldn't want Scarlett Johansson.
No,
No.
screw
No.
Scarlett.
No.
Get us
See,
Gal Gadot.
You need
No, I don't think Gal would do
You
a good
need
job
someone
with this one.
more lively and really brash for the role. You need someone who can just shout out every expletive known to man and alien alike.
Lily Allen.
Huh. No.
No. Look, no offense to Lily Allen. Her music's fantastic. Her acting is quite subpar.
You
Oh,
d-
okay.
You
I
also
didn't
need...
even know she did acting.
She's
so.
been in a few British films, and they haven't been particularly great roles.
Okay.
I don't know if that was more reflective on the people writing the roles for her or her acting, but it just didn't fit.
That's
British
the thing
movies
with
aren't
this
great.
role is Revy stands out as a character who is just, the tough kind of female actor, like the tough kind of female person. So you need the right kind of person to fit it, and a lot of the times that's where people get very, very passionate about anime when a role is miscast, but you just got to figure, okay, who would you pick? There is literally no one like this in the
you
world.
know what? If they did that 25 years ago or 20 years ago, you know who they would have put in that role?
I get the feeling you're going to say like Angelina Jolie. Or...
Yes.
Oh.
That
Oh.
is
they
who
would've.
they would have cast.
Yeah.
So we would be looking for the modern equivalent of Angelina Jolie when she was doing Tomb Raider. Because like, don't get me wrong, like not everyone is a big fan of Jolie, and that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
Sometimes her acting's fantastic, sometimes it's hit and miss, but I think that's also a lot to do with directors.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the attitude that they'd be looking for in an actress to do that role.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we can well and truly say that's Black Lagoon would definitely go to Amazon.
I could
I could see that
definitely
on
try and sell
Amazon
it to them.
straight away. Okay. my live action.
Oh, do tell.
Mine's one that should not be adapted. And there's a very good reason for it.
Oh, Full Metal Alchemist.
Already done.
Yeah, I
Already
know.
done
It
and
shouldn't have been
awful.
done.
I didn't find it that bad. Bleach has already been done as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It's probably no surprise that I'm talking about Neon Genesis. But
Yeah, I
Neon
haven't
Genesis
seen
should not be a live action.
I feel
Yeah.
like if they did it right, it wouldn't be too bad.
Well, there was a live action in the works back in the early 2000s.
I remember seeing a bunch of fan trailers on like early YouTube.
No, we'll
Yeah.
come to that in a sec because I want to jump on that. In 2003 at the Cannes Film Festival, Gainax, ADV Films, and Weta Workshop, the guys behind Lord of the Rings, announced that they'd joined a team to officially make the live-action Neon Genesis work. At the time, Weta was getting more interest in the Neon Genesis live-action than the Lord of the Rings live-action.
Oh,
More inquiries about collaborating and so on.
imagine how things could have gone.
Now, here's the thing. ADV Films went under. ADV, if you were watching the original Neon Genesis, they handled the dub for that. What was it? Bubblegum Crisis, that sort of period.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about 2006-07 that they kind of went under from memory. And part of them has been spun off into different companies, such as Sentai Filmworks, who own High Dive, and so
Okay.
on.
Yeah.
So elements of them have been branched out, but basically the company was scuttled. The rights for the live action is currently unknown where it sits. But the thing is that no one was ever approved as an actor in the 6 years it was allegedly in production. No one was ever lined up as a director. No script was ever created, even a rough script. No storyboards were ever created. A ton of money was dumped into it during this time, and nothing ever amounted to it.
Where did that money go?
Yeah, where's the money?
It propped up ADV's business before they went into administration.
It went into
yeah.
Elon Musk.
This was all a ploy by Musk.
Now, the reason I don't think Neon Genesis will work well is because we've seen what happens with giant robot and kaiju films.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Only
I
recently
adore
as well.
Pacific Rim. I adore Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Kong and the Kong films. But I am well aware that they are not commercial successes,
Is this the third podcast in a row we've talked about Pacific Rim?
possibly. Because we had The Black and then we mentioned it last episode.
Yeah.
The Pacific
Yeah.
Rim, The Black being the new animated one on Netflix. I think we mentioned it in the opening last episode as well.
Yeah.
But look,
Wow.
well, look, it is a love letter to Japanese mecha.
Yeah.
But if you have a look at how that's been handled, it proves especially from a Western perspective, we don't know how to handle giant robots in a film setting.
We don't know how to handle giant robots. That's why Japan's building one and not us.
No, we built
Yeah.
one. We built one. So this was about
Oh,
4
no.
years ago. America built one. Not we. America built one, and Japan built one, and then they had a robot fight with them.
Yeah.
It was all staged
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it turned out the American one couldn't actually move. So
That sounds
that
about right.
that actually kind of checks out.
America's ego's too big. They're like, oh, no, can we just give you money and we can pretend we fought?
that's pretty much what happened. I can't remember if the Japanese one was in full working order, but I know it was further along in development than the American
I
one.
think I remember seeing the Japanese one and that you could put down a deposit to buy one of those mechas.
Yeah.
Allegedly, it was fairly functional, just very simplistic.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that was swirling around in the early rumors for the Neon Genesis film was who was going to play the main characters.
I heard Kirsten Dunst at one set.
Kirsten Dunst for Oscar, never
can
actually
kinda see
approached, and Tobey Maguire
As
for
Shinji?
Shinji,
I heard Elijah Wood.
and Elijah Wood, and there was a third one as well.
I didn't hear
Now,
any
the
for Ray,
reason
though.
Elijah Wood came up was because of his connection with Weta Workshop, because
Lord
at the
of the
time
Rings.
people
Yeah.
didn't realize how big his role in Lord of the Rings was.
Yeah.
They thought he was just going to be playing some random thing if he was in it, so maybe he was talking to them about,
He was going to
More.
play as one of the angels. Just his face.
But that's the other reason. So, look, from a production point of view, if we were to create a live-action Neon Genesis, it would end up looking cheesy, no matter who's on board with it.
Who would you even get for
Like,
Ray?
Just
Like back then or now?
Okay, now you'd want, who's that girl from Twilight?
Oh, Kirsten Stewart.
Yes.
Stewart.
Kirsten Stewart could do Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could now.
Same kind of personality.
Yeah.
She's cloned.
Yeah, basically.
No. Obviously we need Rie Takahashi because clearly she's a Ray clone.
You've got something about Rie Takahashi.
I just think she's an incredible voice actor.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, but look, so if you look at like from a production standpoint, one, to produce it would be super expensive, especially if Weta Workshop are involved in it. So you then have to figure out how you are going to create the angels in a believable and visible setting. Now, there have been videos online of people who've created really good CG passion projects of Neon Genesis, but they're only about 3 to 4 minutes in length. And you think they've got to do that as a 2-hour film, and they... Let's be honest, the original Sonic version of Sonic the Hedgehog is what would happen. That's what we would have ended up with.
And then the fan outrage, and then we get rehashed Sonic.
Yeah, but that's a rare exception. There has been outrage to designs before that haven't resulted in it, and I think a studio that took on Neon Genesis would not listen to fans.
No.
Okay, but
especially
I'm thinking...
if the creator was in on it.
Well, Hideaki Anno is completely done with Neon Genesis at this point, he said.
He's
so
dead and tired of it.
He's done with it, and he has no intention to connect with it at all. So
he's moving on to different things, bigger and better things, which we'll talk about later
in a moment. But if you think about it, just from a production perspective, it's unfeasible. Like you've got to create something that looks realistic, and most of it will be CG. And while we're used to seeing a lot of CG with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Cinematic Universe, I don't think that will extend very well to large-scale monster versus kaiju fights that look believable and don't edge on cheesy like we saw with Pacific Rim.
Now, here's the question. 20 years down the track, do you reckon you'd see something like it with improved tech or something
I don't
like
think
that?
we'd handle it well. I just don't think we could. If anyone was going to do it, it'd have to be Japan.
I think if we saw anything in 20 years, it'd definitely be a fan project. But I can definitely see a fan doing a full project within 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you've got 20 years to make it, sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, over the next 20 years, I'm pretty sure we will see, like, one of those dedicated fan projects because of how fast technology's evolving and being able to sort of get those sorts and materials.
I just don't think it would work well.
Yeah, probably not.
You think about the dialogue, an unfamiliar ceiling and stuff like that. I don't think it adapts very well. I mean, there are reasons why people, like, while I love the original Neon Genesis, I realize there's a lot of deeply flawed scenes in it. Like, let's stand in an elevator for a good 3 minutes before talking.
Mass Effect loading.
Yeah. Like, it felt like a loading screen. And I realized the reason it was done was because of budget issues, but...
say, Kyle, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Did you set this, like, entire subject for all of us to talk about just so you could just tell people not to make an Evangelion movie?
Yes, no. No, I did not. If you recall, you suggested this topic.
I suggested a bunch of them, but I think you just lashed onto this one going, yes, this is my chance to tell people never make Evangelion live action.
Well, when Kyle was like, oh yeah, you can make a good or a bad one, I was like, I'm pretty sure Kyle's going to suggest either Neon Genesis or Lupin.
I think wasn't.
I would love a live action Lupin.
I think there has been a live action.
No, there is a live action Japanese Lupin, and it's
yes,
really
there is.
good.
Yeah, there we go. Of course, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's
you
a valid
watched,
point.
Much Lupin?
No, I haven't.
My other thought was for a one which would make a good adaptation. Oh, geez, it's gone. I guess I didn't have one.
One Piece.
Or
I have another one that I think would make a really good adaptation.
oh yeah.
Golden Kamui.
Oh
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Golden Kamuy. Come on.
I mean,
how do you even say that? Hey?
your main trick there is that you want to have the exact right locations because
Yeah.
everything
you just
about
go
that.
to Sapporo
Oh, that's fair.
and then
but,
base yourself in Sapporo and film all around Hokkaido.
Grab yourself a beer while you're there.
but it's going
Go
to
to
be
the
like
fish
in
markets.
the dead of winter as well. Like,
Oh.
you need to get the atmosphere just right for something like that.
Yeah, but if you did,
Well, I mean, look, Hokkaido still has a lot of untamed wilderness. You could definitely do it. You could really do it. I would, you know what, hands down, I'd say I would watch that.
yeah,
I would back that. If someone kickstarted that, I would back it.
it would be so good.
It
I
would be
reckon.
amazing.
I mean, that's like I've like not saying this to sort of like say that's a bad thing, but that is so easy. Like that location is perfect for it. the costumes are basically period piece items. It's
I'm
it's a
half
slam
expecting
dunk.
Kenny
You
to
could make
grab
so much money.
grab a book
Yeah.
right now and start writing down the plot and be like,
Buy,
okay,
like,
and then we do
plane
this.
tickets and then,
They're
like-
I got this.
Like the only hard part I think would be doing that. I can't remember the guy's name, but the character who preserves the skins.
Yeah.
His suits.
Yeah. Well, look, there would probably be a way for them to do it by
Bet I could find a mad
connecting it
enough
with the
cosplayer.
cultural history.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Keiralee, do you want to do costume design on live action Golden Kamuy? I guess we're doing
That'd be
this.
so good.
Yeah, get Scott in, do the leather stuff.
True.
Actually, that's what they could do. They could change it from skins to animal skins.
Well, I mean, you can't really use the real stuff, can you?
Well, no.
I mean, there's a legal...
We're doing it in international waters. No. Moving right along. Okay, well, those are our picks. So we do think Fruits Basket, Would You Be Willing to Fall in Love with a Pervert, Black Lagoon, and Golden Kamuy would make great live actions. I personally don't think Neon Genesis would. Let us know in the comments what you think, and jump on our social medias if you're listening on the podcast to share your thoughts with us.
I think Death Note would be a terrible Western live action, and nobody should do that.
I think Avatar: The Last Airbender would be a terrible live action,
And nobody should do it.
I think Dragon Ball.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
So are you talking about Dragon Ball Evolution now?
No, I was not. You're not meant to say its name. Never say its name.
Don't worry, we'll bleep that out.
No,
comedy is
you mean
evolving.
I'll bleep that out? Stop giving me more
You have
work.
to do all the hard work.
do have
More
to do all
bleeps,
the-
more bleeps.
Okay, let's talk about anime news, essentially, from this week as part of Anime Communique. And I believe JoJo is returning. JoJo.
Part
Yeah.
6.
The ride never ends, does it?
No, it's a bizarre adventure. It never ends.
That actually makes sense now.
Dude, have you watched any JoJo?
I've watched a bit of season 1, and then I was just like, I'm not ready to jump on this train just yet.
Okay, season 1's the hard part.
Oh, yeah.
It basically sets up the plot so that the rest can just fly.
So Aaron, both you and Keiralee
I've
are JoJo's.
seen
lovers.
2 seasons.
2 seasons. Nice.
And I love that this new part's coming out because I love the character Jolene.
Jolene's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Ooh.
So this time, JoJo is a lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the descent, because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's each season or story arc is the next descendant in the line, isn't it?
Kind of. There's somewhere it sort of branches off weirdly, like Giorno is the son of Dio, who was using Jonathan's body.
What?
Yeah, look, it's complicated. If you watch JoJo's, it makes total sense.
Okay. So look, it's not as complicated as Fate's Day.
No, nowhere near
Just
as
Fate,
complicated
actually.
as Fate.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
And then there's Josuke Higakishita, I think his name is. Apparently in the certain writing of that name, there's a Joe in there somewhere. So he's still a JoJo, but he's the illegitimate son of... No, he's the illegitimate son of Jonathan. No, Joseph. Joseph, yeah.
So is this...
You're struggling a bit there.
So is
There's
this,
so many JoJos
is
in
this
the
the manga
plot.
that's continuing or the anime?
The anime.
So the
Aha.
manga's already, I think, up to
The
arc
manga's like
9? Or something
yeah,
like that?
because
All right.
it's Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, and
Steel
something
Ball
else.
Run is totally a knockoff of Cannonball Run.
It's a knockoff of what was that racing one we liked the other season?
Red Line?
No, with the Ainu.
Apare Ranman.
Apare Ranman,
which
yeah.
is a knockoff of Cannonball Run.
Oh,
So
okay.
Cannonball Run is a trilogy of American films from the 80s where it's a race from one side of the country to another, wacky racer style.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Except they're all on horses, and the main JoJo shoots his fingernails at people.
All right. Well, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. In Florida, 2011, Jolene Cujo sits in a jail cell like her father Jotaro once did, yet this situation is not of her own choice. You don't say. Most people don't opt to be in
She was
a
framed.
jail cell.
Yeah.
Yep, framed for a crime she didn't commit and manipulated into serving a longer sentence. Jolene is ready to resign.
Yeah,
to
allegedly
dire
there was a
fate.
guy found murdered with fingernails in him or
No,
something.
that's a different JoJo.
That's another JoJo.
Her ability is, I think she makes things wet and smooth.
Okay, so like each JoJo incarnation has an ability that is slightly different.
Starting from season 3, they all get stands.
Yep.
Which are the punchy ghosts. That's the easiest way to refer to them.
Oh, that makes so
Yeah.
much more sense.
And they have great names as well.
Yeah,
See,
especially the dubbed names because they want
Exactly.
to avoid lawsuits.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because
It's
JoJo
brilliant.
does a lot of pop culture references,
Yes,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah,
musical
they're-
It's a
references.
thing.
Yeah, they're twisted references to old school music.
There's AC/DC, there's Crazy Diamond, there's Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's you think of an 80s band and it's there.
An 80s band.
Like
oh.
season 3 was like a color and a tarot card basically, and then season 4 started just going ham.
Okay.
So different kinds of ham, all right.
Yes.
No.
Bacon, prosciutto.
Western River gum ham,
What-
Virginian cut.
why?
I worked in a deli once.
Oh yeah, you did too. Actually, when we first met.
So yeah, so it's
'cause
Jolene and
I never really understood the whole thing behind stands because I was like, they're stands because they stand behind people.
well, they're supposed to be the manifestation of one's spirit and willpower.
Okay, well, I mean, I've got a theme here.
Awaken my
You have to
quivering
pose. You have to pose.
JoJo is quite bizarre.
But yeah,
Okay,
I
cool.
feel like we could do a whole episode on
yeah.
JoJo and
And
just
I
like
could.
dissect
to be
it.
honest, we need to do that, and we need to get a JoJo expert in. So
Hi,
Yeah.
you're a JoJo expert.
I've watched all of it.
yes.
Yeah, we were talking about this. We were thinking of like getting people in who are sort of like quote unquote lore masters of certain.
Yeah, you
big,
wanted me in for
extensive-
Fate.
Yeah,
I
yes.
was going to say we do need to line up that Fate Explainer episode as well.
I feel like shouldn't we be using that for the potential project we have lined up where we're using a different app?
Yeah, maybe. We will see.
Then
if
it's
we
like
end up
more like
using that.
bite-sized pieces and easier to consume.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We could do both. There's nothing stopping both.
sure.
You know, as they love to, as I love to use this button.
Both is good.
Yeah, both is good. All
I
right,
swear to God, you two are those characters.
we should do that.
I'm the
Miguel
dark-haired
and
one.
Tulio.
He's the dark-haired one, definitely. I'm definitely the blonde one.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
The blonde one with the facial hair.
All right, JoJo Part 6 on the way. We don't have an exact release date, but I believe it's meant to be in the coming months, as in like in 2021.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
So we'll see when that. I think it's October 2021 is the estimated release at this point.
Basically, it was at the end of a JoJo premiere event that you had to pay money to watch. And then all they really gave us was the voice actress for Jolene.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
It
a
was
little
her going yada yada dawa.
yada yada.
Well, because JoJo's is yada yada daze.
Mhm.
So hers is dawa, which is sort of like the Naruto datebayo, and then Boruto's dateba something.
Dasibai, no.
Well, his mother's was dateba ne. That was
Really?
Kushina, yeah. So it's a family sort of vocal tick.
That's
I'm fairly sure that's not how that works.
okay, let's move on. YuruCamp film is on the way. Now, we've mentioned YuruCamp many times. Laid Back Camp is the English translation, or as we just call it, Comfy Camp, because
comfy.
it is comfy by the author Afro.
The new season. of
That's
its-
hairist.
No, it's not.
As
You-
a bald man.
You migrated your hair to your beard. I can't grow a beard that lush. That's why I still have hair.
The
So love
most
effort.
recent season of YuruCamp, it feels very, very different to the original one. There's less of the like information of how to camp, and it's more just here's Japan. Here are some awesome places in Japan you can camp.
Check out
Come
the
to
scenery.
Japan. 2020 has
Tourism
been
101.
rough. Please come back.
Well, the film is scheduled for a 2022 release. The whole staff and team are returning for it, and we've only got like a couple of sort of, I guess you could call them image board art concepts for it, which are these lovely pictures here. It looks like what our
lovely.
main character got herself a bicycle. Because she still can't get her motorbike license.
I have to wonder how they're going to do this for a movie. I mean, movies generally have a 3-act structure and conflict and stuff like that that has to be resolved.
Oh no,
I can't see anything like that
I
happening.
can totally see something like that. Well, firstly, Japan doesn't follow the 3-act structure.
Oh yeah, that's
But
fair.
if we were to do 3 acts, Act 1, then talking about it and planning the trip. Part 2 is the road trip to going there, and Part 3 is them actually arriving, settling down, showcasing everything, celebrating, going, we did it, blah, blah, blah. It's really good, it's fun, and then them traveling home as part of the credits.
You know what? For something as low stakes and comfy as this, I reckon I know exactly where they're going camping. Mount Fuji.
They keep
that'd be a
everything
big one.
they've done in the manga and in the series so far has been about them going to locations with views of Mount Fuji or other mountains.
Okay.
So it's them sort of building it up and then going.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned this before, but like one of the most gorgeous things about this show is that it captures photorealistic shots of all these actual real places in Japan which you can go to and see, and
then on
the
their
countryside
YouTube,
is so beautiful.
and then on the YouTube channel that YuruCamp have, they send out the guy who voices the narrator to all these locations in real life and meets the people they actually are based on.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think we only just introduced you to this, Keiralee. Yeah, start of the first episode, you have the main character Rin. She's getting her nice little camping spot down by the lake, and she talks to the owner of this place, who's like got this awesome moustache and beard and this like big kind of like slouchy bean hat. Yeah. And you just look at it going, oh, that's an interesting character design. And then you see this video of the actual narrator riding around to this place and going up to the counter to get his permit from a guy with a fantastic moustache and beard and an awesome beanie slouch. He's just like, it's real.
The same dude.
That's pretty cool that they've done that.
Yeah,
it's
like I mean, it must have
it.
been quite a challenge for them to get the rights for people's actual visual look.
I don't
before they do
know.
it.
Maybe I don't know if the laws are different over there, but maybe they just had to ask him. Like
That
hey,
might be the case.
Hey, you want to be in an anime? I really like camping here. Yeah, no worries, man.
Wait, did it go straight to anime or was it a manga first?
Manga first. So it was a web manga originally.
Oh, okay. I feel like
and-
it's easier to ask somebody, hey, you want to be in a manga?
Yeah. But then they've got to go, oh, it's now getting anime adaptation.
Now I have to go back to all these places and ask them,
Oh no!
no.
Here is I must go camping. It's too far to do in a day.
What shall I do? I shall get this bag of marshmallows and roast them while I ask.
Yeah,
And, like, cup
definitely,
noodle curry.
Definitely.
Yes.
Oh, we need to go get more cup noodle curry.
Dude,
I
I've
mean,
got an entire box at mine. Did you want some?
we need to discuss where you got that so I can also buy one.
We can go. We can go.
Okay, let's move on. Anohana, we've mentioned this on our social media. We couldn't talk about it last episode. Now, Anohana, the flower that bloomed, 10th anniversary project is in the works. We don't know when the official release of it is coming, but it is now 10 years since that was actually released on our screens, and we all cried a lot, and we all felt really bad and couldn't go to work for a week.
You haven't seen this one as well, have you, Keiralee?
No, yeah.
No, but you've seen
I
a lot of
cry
stuff we
lot.
haven't. Oh, you cry a lot, so you don't watch a lot of sad stuff like
No.
Angel Beats and so on.
No, I've watched Angel Beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is it's it'll move you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It'll break your
I
heart.
watched this, and now I can't play hide and seek.
No, don't. No. The television anime was in 2011, follows childhood friends who try to reconnect in high school after drifting apart due to a tragedy 5 years earlier. The series inspired a manga, 2013 film sequel, and a 2015 live action series special. Sorry. The upcoming project for 10th anniversary has them all 10 years older, except for the girl who died.
Dun, dun, dun.
Spoilers?
Well, I assume that was fairly common knowledge. Like it literally is said in the first episode.
But yeah, I've seen comparative art showing them in that poster where they're all 10 years older and the poster before when they're 10 years younger. It's just like, I see.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to return to it, but at the same time,
You,
that was a
you want
beautiful
the
anime.
extra. Like, you want the, okay, this is a little bit more, and maybe, like, I'm going to hurt, but it'll be sweet at the same time.
Now, on the note of upcoming project changes, there is a dub in the works for Dororo, which we've mentioned before in passing. Dororo is a fantastic show that was based on a manga by Tezuka, who created Astro Boy, pretty much the godfather of animation.
Yeah, this existed as an anime way back in the 60s, back when it was
very
more
cute, the 60s version.
Oh, it's adorable for what it is. And
yeah,
how did they make like Yakimaru's story cute?
I think they made the demons chibi.
But
Yummy Maru.
Okay, but the fact that
I mean, he a good-looking boy. He good looking boy.
He's also missing limbs and skin and
organs
spine
and eyes and yeah.
Have you seen this one?
it, Keiralee?
No.
we will have to provide you some of these
Basically,
shows we're talking about.
the plot for this one is that there's this Japanese lord. His land is failing. He's about to be invaded, and so he sacrifices his to-be-born child to some demons, saying each of them will have a part of him to eat, so long as they save his land. They take the deal, except something happens with the last demon, and it fails, meaning this
limbless, eyeless, skinless
is still alive,
baby
and
horror.
so they toss it away, where it is found and raised by a man who gives it prosthetic limbs and the ability to fight, such that this man walks into the world completely blind except for his ability to see demons, and every demon he cuts down, he gets a limb back.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
it's a very good story.
It's
Sounds like messed up Alita Battle Angel.
It's like
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
hugely
no.
like brutal.
Yeah, no. I mean, because Alita was all about the cyborgs,
Yeah.
and having read all of the manga up to date, including the Mars arc, which is just
Wait, it's still going?
yeah, manga's still going, but the release schedule
To
is
this
so
day?
still very sporadic. So we had Gundam, which was translated as English in English as Alita Battle Angel, and then we've got Alita Last Exile, which is another couple of 100 chapters, and now there's Alita Mars Chronicles, which is looking at her heritage on Mars and obviously the wider universe and one of the people she used to know. But the release schedule for it is so sporadic. I think it's like in one of those magazines where it's just like, yeah, whenever they're ready, we'll put it on that issue.
Oh, Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, same sort of thing. But yeah, I haven't seen an update for about 4 months now.
Dang.
So yeah, but look, it's. I follow what you mean with like obviously the limbs and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but knowing the wider story, it's very, very different.
I feel like you've got a better
A
understanding
lot
of it
more
than me,
magical
so-
and mystical, and like the recent anime version of it was heart-rending and beautiful.
Oh, Dororo, yeah.
But I can't imagine how they did that in the 60s.
Yeah, they didn't. They kind of made it a bit more tongue-in-cheek. Now, Shin Kamen Rider. We
Yes.
mentioned at the end of last episode, or more correctly, Aaron mentioned at the end of last episode, that Kamen Rider is now celebrating its 50th anniversary.
It can now get the seniors discount.
It can. And along with that has become a slew of new projects. There is a prequel manga which has just been, which is currently running, and its extension has been announced in its final end. There is a 50th anniversary project in the work. And there's also, and this was announced a while back, but it kind of got put on the back burner because of Neon Genesis's last film, the Shin Kamen Rider film.
Being made by, yes, as you
Hideaki
mentioned,
Anno.
Hideaki Anno, who also did Shin Godzilla recently. And that was
That was
nuts.
great.
That was
That was
crazy.
great.
So we have two shins. Are we getting two thighs next?
Yes.
Sweet.
No, Shin is in new.
Me?
No. New, N-E-W.
Oh.
A new version of you.
Yeah.
A new me.
A new
Well-
you with eyes. We have Broken Kyle.
No. Shin can imply new. It can also imply several other things, such as a rebirth and so on.
Oh, dope.
It's
And so
a very useful.
Kamen Rider is
phrase.
like a very long-running kind of a superhero franchise. I'd
50
kind of say.
years long running?
Very much so.
Yeah.
But I've come to know it through one of my mates who is like one of the biggest fans of the show I've ever met.
I challenged them to meet my friend, who's one of the biggest shows of that fan.
Hey, you're on.
I've met your friend who is a big Kamen Rider fan. He
Yeah.
has a depth of knowledge that I did not expect.
So much knowledge.
There
I
is
don't know.
so
The
much.
way these communities go, my mate and your mate probably know each other.
They're
Yeah,
probably mates.
yeah, they might
Or
even be the
mortal
same
enemies.
person.
Well, no, because Kenny would have noticed him when we went to Kong vs.
yeah,
Godzilla.
true.
So if it was the same person, we would know.
But so yeah, Shin Godzilla was brutal to say the least. There's a lot of stuff that was removed from the final cut for just being too.
Yeah, it's a bit full on.
I feel like Kamen Rider won't have that, though.
I don't know though
because-
if it's going to be like Shin Kamen Rider, and you've seen the art for the poster now. It looks like they're going to go kind of a bit more like what would you call it? Bruce Nolan, The Dark Knight Rises.
Bit gritty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they
Gritty reboot.
I was going to say, is Kamen Rider going to have a Batman voice?
Tell me where the Joker is.
Tell me where the monsters are.
But now, are the monsters going to be like these horrifying mutations like in the Godzilla one? It's like,
Well, I mean,
I'm
they
actually,
kinda are.
I'm sort of excited to see what they're going to do with it, but I can understand why fans of the show would be
Concerned.
why they'd have trepidation for seeing it, because, you know, the normal one that you see on TV is a lot more campy. Like, great like camera work and wire work, though. They go out the wazoo for
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely. Like all the fight scenes are really well choreographed.
Yeah, incredible.
Especially like all of their Easter seeds where he's on a cross getting kicked in the junk.
Oh yeah, that was a shot you shared from like one of their original series.
Yeah. Like,
what was that?
Because
wow.
its anniversary is the same time as Easter. And so I was talking to my friend that you met, and he's like, quite a recurring theme is he gets hung up on a cross. And quite frequently he gets kicked in the junk when he does.
Why?
If you're going to hurt someone, where are you going to go?
It's Japanese gag humor.
Is this a...
Yeah.
This is literally going.
Is this a
is what we
reference?
used to do in the olden, the old slapstick comedy
This
days.
is what we did in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
The days of
I
World
think
Boxes?
I think Kamen Rider has actually got like a history of using traditional Japanese gag comedy as part of the show, such as the bathtub
Kancho?
sorting thing, and that. So they've got that the bath pan which gets dropped out the window on people's heads, which was our equivalent of the piano being dropped out of a window, sort of thing. So they've got a lot of those gags, which I think we used quite a lot during the early days of the show. So but look, that's
I know
that's
that-
coming.
Like, from what I've seen of Kamen Rider is the series are connected basically by name and by only a few sort of like hints. Sort of like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Well,
So like some of them will be a bit more campy and hilarious. Other ones will be a bit more like gritty and dark and brooding. Some of them are just bonkers.
there's a few of them that actually call on the powers of past riders.
Yeah.
Like there's one who collects all of their armors and puts them together to make this new Super Kamen Rider armor.
Yeah, I've seen that, and so you have to wonder: it's like, are they from different realities? Is this
I think
different
that
versions
might
of
be
Earth,
the case.
or
Like
are they
this-
different time periods?
This actually looks pretty dope. I've just brought it up on my screen here. So Hideaki Anno says, "I want to give back a little for the gifts the TV show gave me 5 decades ago." Pretty much saying it was one of his influences, which would make sense. And now I've got that image Kenny showed you in a larger size. It definitely looks a bit more gritty.
I hope he calls on the power of all the Kamen Riders and like they're all there for like a huge fight.
That'd
scene.
be epic.
That's the
like
one
an
thing
Avengers Endgame bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
the
would be-
most ambitious crossover in history.
Well, at this point, scheduled for March 2023, so we do have a little while to wait before that does hit screens, and whether we get that international release is another matter.
I'm honestly,
I'm highly
like,
skeptical we will.
Yeah.
I've only seen a little bit of Kamen Rider, but I'm actually genuinely excited to see this.
If you want, my friend Thomas has hooked up. I asked him to do this project where he got the first and last episode and then the best episode of each Kamen Rider.
That's
And
pretty
he's
cool.
got that ready and waiting for me for whenever I want to do just like a marathon.
Nice.
Should
so
we do a group thing?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe we'll do something on the Patreon or on the Discord.
Yeah.
Like a group watch sort of thing. Okay, let's move on because we need to talk about a little show that Keiralee has asked us to watch, which has, I guess you could say, some pepperings of chaos in it.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Back catalogue.
You do that every time, and I love
Every
it.
single time.
We're talking Galaxy Angel, which I can only describe as delightfully insane and perfect for AMVs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Keiralee, this was your suggestion to us. So, please enlighten us. What on earth is Galaxy Angel, and why did you make us watch it?
Oh, goodness. So I found this anime back when I had my first job and my first paycheck. I went into the DV store and I was like, ooh, Galaxy Angels. That looks interesting. So I bought it.
Was this JB Hi-Fi or?
No, it was like one of the off-brand ones that no longer exists. Yeah. No, it was another one.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
There's another one?
But
There's a few.
yeah, my goodness, just absolute chaos. I love all of the characters. Looked into it, and I think I bought another 2 of the other seasons. I watched all of them, loved it. There's also, it originated from a game and manga. The game is like a strategy game and a dating sim. I love dating sims so much.
So I've got it up on here. It's a Bishoujo sci-fi meta series composed of an anime, manga, and dating sim video game. It was created by Broccoli in 2000.
Yeah.
Broccoli is, I believe, actually a production company. It's not an individual person, which is a very unusual name.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Production
that green ninja from Naruto.
Rock Lee.
Yeah, Broccoli.
It launched as a multi-platform project called Project GA, and the Galaxy Angel Party manga and the anime comprise a comedy story in an alternative universe, while the games and regular manga have a serious romance and action plot.
Yeah, so the anime doesn't really have like a storyline per se.
Yeah, I kind of got that from the first episode you showed me. It's
It's episodic in a way, isn't it?
kind of like, but yeah, the first episode is, okay, we're part of this like great organization who go around the galaxy and do stuff. We're here to find a cat.
Yep.
There's no overarching story, but there's a lot of plot.
Okay, I've written quite a spiel on that first episode. Here is the plot of the first episode. Find a cat who's a baron. Now we must collect all the cats on the island because they all look alike. Steal a car to do it quicker. And now a man is trying to assassinate the cat. Turns out the cat is the heir to a royal line, and the son of the cat's owner is trying to get the inheritance which he left to the cat.
And these are short episodes as well. These are like 12 minutes each or something like that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're half length. Now, depending on where you are, you can watch it on Funimation. We had to watch it on the good old DVDs. Funimation, it does not actually have the content available in Australia. So
Yeah, you're going to need to either, NordVPN it or make like Jack Sparrow,
make like it.
which we can't endorse.
We
but
can't endorse that.
But also, we're not the police and we can't tell you what to do.
No, you do what you want. Looks like Amazon also has it up on their website as well, which you can purchase directly depending on region. And they've got the first 26 episodes. But there's a couple of interesting things about this that I thought was quite interesting. So the episode names are very strange. For example,
Vanilla flavored asteroid trash stir fry.
vanilla flavored asteroid trash stir fry.
Because why not?
Yep.
Isn't that the one where they take in the AI missile?
Yes, it is. That's episode 3. All character names are related to desserts. Ranfa Framboy. Framboy is French for raspberry and is also the name for a raspberry liqueur.
Of course, you know the French one.
Oh, I've went and got them all. Forte Stollen. Stollen is a German sweet cake often served at Christmas. Milfou Sakuraba, derived from the pastry milfou, which is French, and cherry blossoms. Mint Blancmange, mint, obviously, and her last name is the dessert Blancmange. And Vanilla H. Her last name is H.
Oh, so we're not just censoring that? We're not just like...
No, it's just H, the letter H. And I
Okay.
believe that's because she
H.
drives the harvester. So they gave her the same letter as it to be
Fair.
connected.
Yeah.
I did my research, you can see.
Yeah.
And of course, their commander, Volcott, the white supernova wolf Vladimir Volcott O'Huey.
Oh, Huey.
O'Huey.
Oh, Huey.
So, what drew you to this one?
It's just so much fun. I really love Mint Blancmange character so much. She is a cosplayer, costume person. Absolutely loves dressing up.
Yeah,
And,
that's very in line with you.
Yeah, there's like this one really funny episode where she has the secret technology. She's like, cleaning up the area and stuff, and then she decides, ooh, there's a fun little hat there. I'm gonna put it on. And then she puts it on, she gets stuck, she takes it off, she's bald.
Why are you all looking at me? My name is not Mint.
And then she just
It wasn't
starts
because
like
of a hat.
freaking out, and then she finds another hat and was like, maybe this will give me hair. And then she puts it on, and then she has like a pig snout. And then it goes on from there, and it just like it just
It's
escalates.
a very strange show.
It's fun.
Kind of sweet.
I really enjoyed it. That second episode with the
Oh, the lucky girl?
well
No, that was the first
well
episode.
no, but she appears in every episode.
Yeah.
That's Milfu.
She's their new recruit.
Yeah, she's the new
Yeah.
recruit. But I really like the fact there's like, the two main goals, Ranfa and Forte, are in a casino and very clearly being swindled after doing really well.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
think, are they cheating to begin with? Because they feel
doing
like
too
they
well.
could. And then obviously the casino guy stuffs them over and they just accept it. I'm sitting there going, you guys are not very good
You're not
officers
attentive
of any
officers.
forms.
Yeah.
And then, Milfu comes in and, the way the guy tries to cheat them on roulette again by lifting the color that they've betted on so it can't land on it. And then an asteroid hits, destroys most of the casino, but puts the ball back onto the color it was meant to be on.
Yep.
It's just like...
Chaotic luck.
Okay then. Look, it's...
It's colourful fun.
It's amazing. Like I thought like when I was watching the first episode, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe, and then it just started getting sillier and sillier and sillier, and I went, I actually really like this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you say that the games and such actually have a very, very action-oriented plot. I'm just like, I don't believe you. I've seen the anime.
There's a storyline.
How?
No, there's not a storyline. How would there be a
We
story?
don't do that here.
We don't do stories here. But look, I actually really enjoyed it, and I think what was also really good was the dub. Like, I was surprised how good the English dub is. You don't like the English dub?
There's one character that sort of gets on your nerves a little bit.
Which one?
I think it's Milfiu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a
Pink hair.
note right here. Her voice is a bit off for her character.
Yeah.
It might also be the art style, but she constantly says she's 17, but she looks 13, 14, and is the typical design language they use for a early high school girl.
Middle
in
school.
Every other anime at that time.
Yeah.
But now, when I was watching the dub, I was wondering, is this sort of like a situation like Ghost Stories, where the dub is very, very different to the Japanese original?
It's kind of similar-ish.
So they haven't
it's-
deviated too much, or
No, not really.
Oh,
I think it's mostly just localization.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the first episode, when she's like, oh, chili dogs, I'm pretty sure that's yakisoba pan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did see her eating a hot dog. Like,
Yeah,
she
or
does.
was that a jelly donut?
Superimpose that.
Yeah, just superimpose it. But look, I think it's worth checking out. And as we mentioned, like, depending on where you are will depend on where you can access it. It looks like if you're in the US and the UK, accessibility is a lot higher. Because .moe is always your friend. If you go there, you can find out where you can watch it. Actually, I'm just gonna do that now for our friends in the US. So it's. Brain is completely frazzled. What were we
Galaxy
talking?
Angel?
Galaxy Angel. I've just written Angel and it goes Angel Beats. I'm like, nope.
Not
We moved
again.
on. So Galaxy Angel is available on Funimation services in the US. If you're over in the UK, you're looking by the looks of it at the high seas, and if you're in Canada, you'd be looking at Funimation as well. And for us in Australia, we've just got to buy the box set. It's not available to stream, unfortunately, at least not according to because.moe, and it's not from what we've found. We've checked all the Funimation and Anime Lab, Crunchyroll, High Dive, Netflix, Anime Lab, Amazon. None of them have it for Australia, unfortunately. But it's definitely worth checking out if you can get a hold of it, if it's in your area. It's a good laugh. They're only 12-minute episodes, so you can actually burn through like half the season in an afternoon quite comfortably.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, I say half the season. That's still the equivalent of 12 episodes.
But it's fairly quick, and like, if you need that like mood boost and just like silly, like fun stuff, watching girls do silly things, like, it's amazing for
like
that.
fun sci-fi concepts. It's just done for something that's just
a bit
beautifully hilarious.
nuts.
Just for giggles.
It's, yeah. It's a bit nuts. We do need to wrap up from here because we've run out of topics to talk, and we could keep going.
Yo, my name's Doug. I'm the dog from Up. And no, we're not wrapping up.
Ooh.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Galaxy Angel live action.
No.
No, that would not work. Did
That-
you see the outfits?
Yes.
No.
No.
What's wrong with the outfit?
The gun lady.
What about the gun lady?
Forte. Yeah, look, I mean, look.
Not that bad.
Look, they could get it. Look, her and Ramfa you could get away with. But one thing I do recall, the reason I know of Galaxy Angel at all is because of AMV Hell.
I was about
and
to
in
say
particular, there's a scene when Ramfa is doing the equivalent of Takashi's Castle / MXC
Yeah.
challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that just makes me so happy. Now, we are obviously at the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you've stuck around to this point and joined us. Next episode, we will have another guest on the show. At this point, it might be a person who runs a Japanese culture website here in Australia.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or it could be someone else. We
You'll
will
just
let you
have
know
to-
when the time logs up and lines
Also,
up.
dun, dun, dun.
Because that's always the challenge at the moment with the world that we live in, isn't it?
Yeah.
But thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed what you've heard this episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get our alerts for future episodes. If you do enjoy what we're doing and you'd like to help us out a little bit or buy us a coffee, we'd love to have you join us on our Patreon. We do have a bit of exclusive content on there, outtakes from episodes, a little bit of extra video content as well. And as we step into the world of videos in the coming weeks, that too will be going to Patreon first before general.
Saying of which, thank you so much for joining us, Keiralee.
Thank you, Keiralee.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have fun.
And we will hopefully have you back again in the future. Now, if you do want to know more about Keiralee and ANIME-NIACS, all the links to her and her partners' social media and so on are in the episode description. Go over, give them a like, have a look at some of the incredible costumes they've made.
I checked out the Monster Hunter one while we were chatting.
Oh,
and
it's so good.
awesome.
Amazing.
I like the cat gloves. They're quite impressive to actually
They're squishy.
make them. Yeah, that's... mwah. Anyway,
Could you actually play the little guitar?
the lute?
Bing, bing,
I think you might struggle a bit to play a lute with cat hands. I think. You can let me know if that worked or not, Keiralee.
It did work.
Yeah?
Yeah, through the fire and flames.
Just a bit of Dragon Force. Okay.
It's got to be a video of that.
There is.
There is.
Go to the social media.
Yes.
You will see it. I'm really struggling this
Come on,
afternoon.
man,
You've been
you got
listening
this.
to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, as we love to say, watch some anime!